This evening, teen arrested in Bel robbery. Police nabbed 2 suspects in attack on 15-year-old girl. Search continues for remaining accomplices. Taxi driver's family demands justice. Calls for swift action in Alexander Street murder as investigation drags on. Trio charged in Cayenne River murder. Venezuelan nationals and Guyanese man remanded in court for killing of shop owner. Ghana's Surama Bridge on track for 2024 construction. Ministerial meeting sets a timeline for long-awaited Caribbean River crossing. Argentina in turmoil. President Milei faces mounting protests as 100 days in office brings economic austerity but social unrest. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for March 20th, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the police have apprehended 2 teenagers as part of an ongoing investigation into the reported robbery with aggravation involving a 15-year-old girl in Bel Air, Georgetown on March 16th. Reports said that on Tuesday, officers from CID 4A and Impact Base conducted an operation at Independence Boulevard, Georgetown, resulting in the arrest of Neil Lynch, a 19-year-old mechanic residing at Curtis Street, Albistown. Lynch confessed to his involvement in the robbery and disclosed the identities of 5 other suspects. Although Lynch claimed non-consent to the robbery, he admitted to receiving $10,000 from the stolen proceeds. Following Lynch's statement, detectives proceeded to Cooper Street and Independence Boulevard, Albistown, where a 16-year-old laborer was apprehended. The police conducted a search of their homes. However, no items of evidential value were discovered. Nevertheless, the duo remains in custody as efforts to locate the remaining suspects are ongoing and investigations continue into the incident. We now turn our focus to an unresolved murder case shrouded in mystery and leaving a trail of unanswered questions in its wake. It has been close to 1 month since taxi driver Ian Holder was shot in the neck and killed following an argument with another individual at Alexander Street, Georgetown. The incident has left his family shattered and in anguish as they plead with authorities to bring the perpetrators to justice.
We, the family of Ian Holder, we're appealing the president, the CID officers, whoever in charge of this case, Mr. Hickins, whoever, please, we need justice. Please look into the matter. The brutal murder of Ian Holder. Please, we need justice. His family need justice.
Holder's mother said despite several visits to the police station, the officers seemed tight-lipped on the matter, and she still does not have a clear understanding of how her son met his demise, except for bits and pieces she learned from bystanders.
The cause of it, I heard that he was arguing, he was in front of some man, right, looking for a parking space in Alexander Road, right, Alexander Street. And why is he looking at this man at the back, cussing up, right? And he came out of the car to go to the man for some man this parking space they're looking for. And the man started cussing him. And he probably exchanged word, right? So they had a little argument. So the man must tell like your mother or something man tell, right? And he said like your mother. And with them, my son turn away now, going to the car, for going to the car, for pull, for going look for thing. The man shoot him from at the back. Yeah. Shoot him at the back. And he fall down. And that was it.
According to these reports, Holder was targeted and gunned down in a brazen act of violence, and the family is quickly losing faith in the Ghana police force's ability to bring the killer to justice.
They sending me nothing. All the time they go in and take more video and all the thing. They ain't saying nothing to us.
All they're saying is that they're still doing investigation. So I asked him, we said, so what about the footage? Didn't you guys get the footage, y'all, and see what happened? Nothing. They're saying that they got the footage, but it's not showing clear. Anybody.
So what is the family looking for at this point?
We need justice.
Justice I want for my son. My son is going down like that. The man got to get hold for
We
my
need
son.
justice.
Because my son ain't doing nothing. Nothing my son ain't doing. If my son ain't knocky, I see you wrong. My son ain't doing nothing. Why
We
you got to
need
shoot my
justice.
son? Eh?
You understand?
Why
My
you got to
son-
shoot him?
My son crying all the time. He crying all the time. He walking with the father picture in the bag to go to school. And he said, Mommy, I want my father.
In an emotional plea to the authorities, the victim's family has urged law enforcement officers to spare no efforts in apprehending those responsible for the heinous crime. They are seeking answers and closure as they grapple with the profound impact of their loved one's untimely death.
We need justice. The family need justice, Mr. Hickens, the president. I call upon you to let her find the person that killed my child. I need justice for my child. My child cannot go down like that. You understand, Mr. President? I need justice. Please, I asking you, let get justice to my child.
As the investigation into the tragic incident continues, the family leans on each other for support and finds solace in Holder's memories. Their primary focus remains on seeking closure for the sudden loss of their loved father, husband, and son, expressing hope that the perpetrators will soon be held accountable for their actions. In other news, 3 individuals, including 2 Venezuelan nationals and 1 Guyanese, were charged today in connection with the alleged murder of Lai Yang on March 14, 2024, at Etterimbang Landing, Cayuni, Mazaruni. Darby Diaz de Costa and Oscar Alcides Canio, both Venezuelan nationals, and Farrell Adolf from Crane Housing Scheme, West Coast, Demerara, appeared before Magistrate Faith Augusta at the Georgetown Magistrates Court and were remanded to prison. The defendants were not required to plead to the charge. According to reports, the sergeant in charge of the Etterimbang police station received a call from the owner of the building, housing a supermarket, alerting him to an ongoing incident at the premises. Law enforcement promptly responded to the call and arrived at the supermarket to find the entrance locked. Upon further investigations, they discovered Farrell Adolf attempting to exit the building, which led to his immediate arrest. Inside the supermarket, authorities made a grim discovery. Lyson was found lying against a wall with a significant wound approximately 13 centimeters in length on his neck. Meanwhile, his reputed wife was found in another room, alive with 2 minor lacerations to her right jaw. The trio will return to court on April 24, 2024. The case was transferred to the Camarang Magistrates Court. Stick around when we return. Guyanese pilot acquitted of trafficking charges by Bartica Magistrates Court, and Surama and Ghana moves forward on Quarantine River Bridge construction plans.
Are you looking for an exciting Easter? Look no further than Digicel stores for incredible savings and a free Easter surprise. This Easter, Digicel is offering an extravagant deal. Purchase the Samsung A05 for just $21,000 or the Samsung A24 for only $39,500 and receive a free kite with your purchase. Make this Easter a memorable one. Visit a Digicel store today and crack open these amazing deals. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl, forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Surama and Ghana advanced plans for Quarantine River Bridge construction before the end of 2024. The Joint Ministerial Committee of Suriname and Ghana met yesterday in Paramaribo to discuss the financing modalities for constructing the Quarantine River Bridge. The project was initiated by President Chandrik Prasad Santokhi and President Irfaan Ali in November of 2020. During the meeting, both sides emphasized the importance of establishing a fixed connection between the two countries. They highlighted the bridge's potential to boost economic opportunities, enhance regional connectivity, and facilitate greater people-to-people interactions. Reaffirming their commitment to the project, they outlined specific recommendations related to the construction, financing, and management, and set a clear time-bound framework. With decisions made at the ministerial meeting, construction is expected to commence before the end of 2024. The presidents of Ghana and Suriname will be presented with the recommendations for further consideration and decisions at their upcoming meeting in Guyana. On a different note, in a significant turn of events, Guyanese pilot Orlin Charles has been acquitted of trafficking in persons charges by the Bartica Magistrates Court. Charles, who faced 16 counts of trafficking in persons charges since May 31, 2023, was prosecuted and placed on $1.3 million bail. He was found not guilty of all charges last Thursday. The Bartica Magistrates Court dismissed all charges due to insufficient evidence leading to charges vindication. While relieved by the outcome, Charles lamented the irreparable damage the charge had inflicted on his reputation and domestic and international business ventures. The public embarrassment caused, particularly to his children studying abroad and locally, weighed heavily on him and his family. Considering the impact of the allegations, Charles stated that he is exploring all available legal options moving forward. Despite his dismissal in court, he remains determined to address the repercussions of the ordeal and restore his standing within the community and business sphere. Don't go away after the break. Supreme Court puts controversial Texas migration law back on hold, and Australia-China friction. Talks on regional security and trade tariffs.
Are you looking for an exciting Easter? Look no further than Digicel stores for incredible savings and a free Easter surprise. This Easter, Digicel is offering an extravagant deal. Purchase the Samsung A05 for just $21,000 or the Samsung A24 for only $39,500 and receive a free kite with your purchase. Make this Easter a memorable one. Visit a Digicel store today and crack open these amazing deals. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See Volunteers for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Corriverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. President Javier Milei is marking 100 days since he came to office in Argentina. The right-wing, self-proclaimed anarcho-capitalist took power on December 10th, promising to turn the country's fortunes around. However, his time in office has been marked by frequent street protests as Argentinians push back against his cost-cutting agenda. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
It's become an all-too-common scene since Javier Milei took office 100 days ago. Clashes between protesters and the police on the streets of Buenos Aires. Protesters demand more food assistance for soup kitchens as inflation has left families struggling to make ends meet.
Not only do we not eat every day, but those who can eat only once a day. We have at least 70% of the population under the poverty index, and many more working people under the indigence index. This is unsustainable.
Poverty rates are on the rise in Argentina. The main reason, inflation is over 50% since Milei took office last December, while he tries to carry out reforms that he says will stabilize the economy.
Javier Milei took office warning people that the situation would get much worse before getting better. And it has. The government devaluated the currency, removed subsidies on electricity and transport. And in places like this one, it shows it has had a huge impact on people's purchasing power.
Jorge Orellano is a butcher in Buenos Aires. He says the situation is difficult for everyone.
There is no doubt there is hardship everywhere. I'm embarrassed to increase prices, but if I don't, I go out of business. I have children coming here to beg for food.
Milei's reform plan has been focused on a mega bill that failed to pass the lower house, and a decree with over 360 articles to introduce sweeping reforms to Argentina's economy. It was rejected in the Senate last week, even though it's still valid. If it is rejected in the lower house, it will complicate the economic plan even more.
President Milei has one very strong thing going in his favor, that he has a clear objective, a clear vision of what he wants. Call it liberal, libertarian, free market, reducing the deficit, not printing any more money. And he's very clear on this. He's not very good at actually governing. He hasn't done this before.
Javier Milei, who calls himself a lion, boasts that cutting down government spending has left a budget surplus for the first time in years, and that inflation has started to go down in February. But those protesting against him are concerned Milei's economic plan has come at their expense. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
A law that allowed the U.S. state of Texas to arrest and deport migrants who crossed the border from Mexico illegally has been put on hold by an appeals court. The law, known as the SB4, briefly went into effect when it was given the green light by the U.S. Supreme Court. But as the legal back and forth continues, migrants says they remain worried for themselves and their families. Al Jazeera's Heidi Zucastro reports.
Dozens of men recently arrived to the United States from Central and South America are waiting at a Houston, Texas gas station for work. Their hopes evaporate with each passing car that offers no jobs for undocumented laborers. 27-year-old Alfredo from Guatemala says he'll take any work that's offered, but money is no longer his primary worry. SB 4 empowers any passing police officer to arrest these men on suspicion they crossed the Texas-Mexico border illegally.
We came to fight for our families, not to harm anyone. We just want to work.
SB 4 says anyone who crossed the border between ports of entry may face up to 20 years in prison unless they agree to return to Mexico. Alfredo says he'll never agree to deport himself. He owes smugglers $32,000 and fears for his family's safety until he pays up. He says he'll have to move to another state. Migrant crossings have already shifted away from Texas to other border states in the law's advance.
I have used a clause in the Constitution that empowers states to defend themselves.
The White House says SB 4 is unconstitutional and will continue to challenge it in court. And Sean Tier, the leading candidate to become Houston's new district attorney in November, says it also invites racial profiling.
You would have mixed families, meaning some people are here with documentation and some people aren't, driving in the same car. You would be calling the person who's driving, if they do have documentation, a smuggler and charge them with a felony and rip a family apart?
Immigrant families near the Texas border say they already live in fear. 18-year-old Anna is a U.S. citizen, but her mother is undocumented.
She always tells me to work hard on my studies so I can get out of here, obviously, like she doesn't want me to be the same.
She worries her mother, who she says has broken no laws other than crossing the border to give her daughter a better life, will be labeled a criminal by the state of Texas. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera.
After years of tension and trade disputes, Australia and China says they're on course to patch up relations. Relations soured 4 years ago after the previous Australian government-backed calls for an inquiry into the origins of COVID-19. China retaliated with trade tariffs estimated to have cost the Australian economy $13 billion. Al Jazeera's Adrian Brown reports.
Handshakes and smiles belie the high stakes that the Australian government faces in managing its relations with China. Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong conceding that talks with Wang Yi were unlikely to resolve their many differences.
Dialogue enables us to manage our differences. It doesn't eliminate them, but this government, in the interests of Australia, will always seek to manage those differences wisely. As I said in the outset of my meeting, China will always be China, Australia will always be Australia.
There was no joint media conference, Wang's only comments ahead of his talks. China, he said, never interferes in Australia's internal affairs. Australia should do the same.
When it comes to China's sovereignty, dignity and legitimate concerns, we of course hope that Australia will continue to abide by the commitments made at the establishment of diplomatic ties.
Regional security remains a contentious issue for Australia, but on trade, friction is easing. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese hopeful a 218% tariff on Australian wine will be lifted shortly. Punitive Chinese tariffs on most other exports have already been removed. During the height of the diplomatic fallout, Australian journalist Chung Lei was jailed for more than 3 years on ill-defined allegations of sharing Chinese state secrets overseas. Last month, an Australian academic, Young Heng Jung, accused of espionage, was given a suspended death sentence.
Australians were shocked at the sentence imposed, and I made clear to him that the Australian government will continue to advocate on Dr. Young's behalf.
Since Xi Jinping became China's leader 11 years ago, he's made one repeated pledge: to fight any challenges to China's sovereignty. A sovereignty enforced, say analysts, by intimidating Taiwan, claiming ownership of almost all the South China Sea, and establishing a security presence in the South Pacific, where China now has the largest diplomatic presence in the region. While Wang Yi has been talking up trade in Australasia, his US counterpart Anthony Blinken has been deepening alliances with old allies, South Korea and the Philippines. Many smaller nations in the region, though, are wary of both the United States and China and don't want to be forced to pick sides in what analysts say could be the beginning of a new Cold War. Adrian Brown, Al Jazeera, Wellington.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Sip TV2 headline news for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.